Tell your dog I said hi. We're finally here. Not streaming on Facebook then, because the plugin that Mike and I set up is apparently still not working. So we are only on the Twitch side. That's fine. Okay. You guys missed the preamble. I'm not going to do it again. It'll be on the audio side. Enjoy the this is what happens when you don't stream live every week, right? Like you just once a month shit's jank. So welcome to the stream for anybody that's watching and joining us. We are not live on Facebook, like I said, but this is episode 98. And yeah, Chris is dating is I guess the highlights there.
Yeah.
I am going into midterms next week, which is a little bit stressful, working on, automotive stuff. And I wanted to step outside my normal gaming habits. I needed something that was a little bit like I could just pick up, put down, walk away kind of thing. So I bought Crusader Kings 3 on PC because it's on sale right now. Really good sales, like $14 or something like that for the base game. Really, really good sale.
There's a lot of really good sales going on right now.
Yeah, there is. So I picked it up, and let me tell you, that game has a steep learning curve, like a real steep one. But once you understand how you gain certain things, it really opens up and becomes a lot more manageable. I'm still learning it every time I play it, but at least I'm not dying in the first 5 years anymore. Like, I'm not losing almost immediately. So, but that's been fun. I actually have been in the process of, I'm playing on hard mode. So because it's Crusader Kings, right? Like the majority of the religions that are like popular at the start of the game are Catholicism, Christianity, Muslim, Islam, that kind of stuff, right? So I was like, nah, fuck that. I'm going to make my nation Norse. So because the rest of the world is like Catholic and Christian and shit like that, everyone, even in my own country, hated me. So I'm like, I just got to make it through the first couple of years of like converting my nation so they actually support me. I'm like fending off assassination attempts and shit as a pagan. It's really great. It's a lot of fun. So, and now I'm taking over Ireland, and I've got like the north half of Scotland. So like, I'm like, yes, now we're growing. It's great. I am the evil man. So it's pretty cool. It's a fun game. It's a lot of work, but it's fun.
Historically accurate.
Yes. Yes. And I had my first just one more round moments. So last night I was playing, and I started playing after I took my daughter to bed with the wife, right? Gave her, and usually like she wakes up in the middle of the night. I look at the clock and I go, okay, I go grab her, take her to the parents' room, give her to the wife, and then come back to play some more for another hour or so. So that happened before I started playing. So when I sat down, I was like, all right, it's 11 o'clock. I'll play for a bit. Started playing. The next minute, I looked at the fucking clock. It was 3:40 in the morning. It's 3:40 a.m. I was like,
perfection.
I fucked up. I have to be awake in less than 6 hours.
Perfection. So, outstanding.
Yep, it was the first time that's ever happened to me. But it's a really fun game. I am not a fan of RTSs or strategy games because I usually suck at them. But this one's a lot of fun.
That's the first time that's ever happened to you for like any game?
Not for any game, but like the meme, right? One more turn or one more round or whatever. Okay. Like I've done that to a certain extent with PUBG and other games, but even those, like, there's a level of infuriation that comes with them that just makes you want to quit. But Crusader Kings is such a long game that, like, to put it in perspective, those 3 hours, I think I got through like 1 or 2 years, and I started in like the 800s. So like, it didn't get very far in the grand scheme of things. So, but it's a fun game. Yeah. Speaking of fun games, we're going to talk about some upcoming games. One that's already out and available, Chris is going to tell us about later. And one slightly later after that I'm hoping he doesn't know is coming so I can get his genuine reaction. Because I'm personally pretty interested in it, but I have my reservations. So we'll talk about that in a bit. But before we get to those, this is the first AAA game made in India about India. This is an Indian adventure game called, let me just make sure I got this correct, Age of Bhaarat. It's the best I can do. I'm white. I'm sorry if I butchered that to anybody that's listening to this. That's Indian.
I think it's like a heavy, like Bhaarat.
That's what I thought,
like
but
it is.
I don't know. Google Translate, right? Google pronounce, so there's probably something lost in translation there.
Hey, I got through my Russian class using Google Translate. So.
All right, so it must be somewhat good, right? So the idea behind this game is it is an Indian game about Indian folklore and legend, and you play as, I think they called it a warden of the forest is the idea. It is going to have co-op, which immediately, like, that keys me in. Love co-op in games, right? It's the first thing I'm like, oh, co-op, all right, let's check this out. It's an action adventure game. Combat looks to play more like God of War than Dark Souls, but it could go either way. Without seeing how the game goes, we don't really know. I don't know if it's a lead developer behind this, but one of the developers on the team is a developer from Ghost Recon Highland, which, to be honest with you, I didn't play that Ghost Recon, so I'm not familiar with it. But obviously, he had some influence in that game and is now working on this title. So obviously, he knows at least something that he's doing, right? Like, he's developed before. This isn't his first game, so that's always good to see.
Ghost Recon Highland or Wildland?
Highland. I don't know what Highland is. I didn't have a chance to look into it. Yeah.
It just occurred to me. I was just like, wait, I don't know a Highland.
Yeah, I don't either. But it could be a typo from Games Press. Wildland could have been what it meant to be, but it definitely said Highland. So I don't know. Either way, it's India's first AAA game ever. Much like China with, what was their game? The Legend of the West or Journey to the West game. What the fuck is it called? Black Myth Wukong. Right, much like China's Black Myth Wukong, this is this country's first AAA game that's going on a world stage, and it looks really good. Chris, what do you think of it graphically and like gameplay wise? What are your thoughts?
Like graphically, like I feel like it's aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah,
like it's not super dark, it's not super bright. Unlike Korean games, everything isn't super shiny.
You don't have fireworks everywhere with crazy particle effects.
Yeah, you don't have particle effects everywhere. And kind of like what I had told you before when you first brought it up to me, I was just kind of like, yeah, like I kind of get like I'm getting a little bit of like an almost Prince of Persia kind of vibe from it. Like movements of it. But like, I mean, it looks great. Like the art looks amazing. The character designs, like it's nothing super over the top. But like it's just enough of everything. Like it looks good. It is ultimately what I'm trying to say. Like visually.
Yeah, it's very appealing.
What little like we've seen from the combat system here, like I would probably agree with you. It definitely looks a little bit more like God of War. Like it's more just, you're there to stand your ground, maybe like dodge by like jumping left. It's not very Souls-like. And because to me, like people say Souls-like and my brain immediately goes, it's like, okay, your dodge is, barrel roll, barrel roll, barrel roll. It's just like, that's not combat. That's
and combat in Dark Souls doesn't feel combo based either. Like it's like hit, dodge, hit, dodge. Like it's much more slow pace, and this feels a lot more like a God of War or like Castlevania Lords of Shadow, where it's a faster paced combat. Devil May Cry even, just without the overly arcadey feel to it, right?
Yeah, and like I mean, I wouldn't say it's like a fast paced combat system either, but it's definitely faster than like any Dark Souls or Souls-like game for sure.
Yeah.
And from the videos we've seen, we only see the combat with the spear.
Right.
And from what I've seen at some point in there, towards the end of the trailer, I think it reveals 3 other weapons: a bow, a chakram, and I believe a saber. But I think the Indian culture has like a different type of saber. I forget what it's called, but it looks like those are probably the 4 weapon selections you get. So, I mean, that looks super cool because it's like, all right, if this is what the spear does, like, what do the others do?
Yeah, they did say that there's going to be customization at the very least in forms of weapons and abilities. So that'll give you some sort of diversity in what weapon you choose or how the gameplay works, hopefully.
Yeah.
The grappling hook is also a really cool thing. It gives kind of Sekiro vibes, as well as like adds some verticality to combat and traversal, which is really nice. Yeah, I mean, India just doesn't have a whole lot of representation in games, and they're a nation steeped in lore and myth. That is just untapped potential for fantastic games.
Oh yeah, they've got such amazing mythology. Like you know me, like I'm a huge fan, love Norse mythology, love the stories. Like Indian culture has just as much, if not more, honestly.
Yep. Yeah. It has, let's see, what else do we got here? It's unclear whether this is going to be an open world game or if it's linear. It could kind of lean either way. The kind of feeling I get is it feels very much like Tomb Raider, the 2014 reboot or whatever it was, where it was a small open world that you navigated semi-linearly, right? Like there was traversal paths you go through to get from one large area to another, and then there's scripted stuff and things of that nature. That's the vibe I get. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's what the devs are doing. It could be a very linear game too. So it's hard to say at this time.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be too much on the game right now outside of its announcement. The one trailer that we've got playing right there.
Yep.
So I mean, I'm putting this on my wish list just so that I can, keep an eye on it as it develops a little bit more, because it looks interesting. I like where they're going with it, and I like the fact that it's steeped in Indian mythology, because that's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's unique, right? At the very least, that's something we have not experienced in video games before. So that alone is going to make this kind of stand on its own and be interesting. And graphically wise, they did a fantastic job. I'm pretty sure they're using UE5. A lot of it looks very UE5, which is great. Love to see UE5 because the lighting, the lumen is just awesome. But it, like Chris said, doesn't have a release date yet. There's no current release. We don't know when it's coming. The footage that's on screen is pre-alpha, so who knows how far in development they are. The world, the story of the game was actually written by a best-selling author. I'm not big on books, so I don't know who this is, and it might be a regionally best-selling author. It could be somebody native to India, named Amish. I'm going to butcher this last name. Tripathi. I'm not too sure, but they are a quote unquote best-selling author. They wrote a couple of chronicles. I think it's like the Shiva Chronicles or something like that. I'm not too sure. I didn't dig too much into the writer, but they have a good team of people behind them writing the story, building the game. I hope it works out for them. Honestly, it's this is the first AAA studio called Terra something, right? I thought I wrote it down.
I just brought them up.
Yeah, Terra.
Okay, never mind. I moved away from Terra Gaming Limited.
Terra Gaming Limited. There it is. So, wish them the best. I'm excited to see more, and honestly, I hope it's at PAX. It'd be cool if it was. I'd come check these guys out.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, if they're going to be at PAX in August, I will be there as media or otherwise. I will be at PAX. So, if you're looking at going, maybe we'll meet up. So,
yeah.
Cool. But that is Age of Bhaarat. Sorry if I butchered it. I'm white. Forgive me. Chris, any final thoughts on that? Like any theories on what we might see, or any final thoughts before we move on to our next one?
I will say this. I really am hoping that possibly with it having the co-op element and the different weapons, that I would really like to see if and how they implement the synergies between encouraging people to use different weapons. Like, hey, you could all go spears, you could all use chakrams or something like that. But if you guys do like one of each or like two of each or something like that, like different synergies and things like that will kind of like implement into the combat and like different things that you guys can do and interact with things. So that would be that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I agree. Synergies would be really cool. I'm curious if it's going to be just 2-player co-op or if they're going to have 4, because they do kind of show you 4 spirit shadow things. So I don't know if they're going to have 4-player co-op or if they're going to stick with 2, how they're going to scale it. Right? There's a lot of questions there that we don't have answers for, but has a lot of potential and it looks really good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've already got it wish listed. So.
Yeah, same. Absolutely. So, talking about wishlisted, you recently purchased our next game. I have it on my wish list. I'm probably going to purchase it pretty soon, too. This is Guards. And Chris has done a little bit of digging on this. He brought it to our attention in the Discord last week, and I did surface level digging. But when Mike said he had to go on a drive, I thought, this would be a good one to bring Chris in on. So, Chris, what'd you find about guards? What do you know about it?
So guards is it's chaos incarnate. It's definitely one of those games to where it's just like, hey, like you're gonna jump into this game, things are gonna happen, you're going to die a ton. But it's definitely one of those games that it's in the spirit of fun. So the whole concept behind guards is you're basically part of the city guard of this city that is underfunded and basically just doesn't care how you bring order back to the city. They just need you to bring order back to the city. So they highly encourage property damage. Actually, I believe the terminology they used was, and I'm going to quote this here real quick.
Yeah.
Where is it?
I love this idea of like, I don't give a shit how you do it, you're gonna do it. Like this, it's basically like sanctioned vigilanteism. Is what they've done. They've turned the guards into vigilantes.
Yeah.
It's just not giving a fuck.
Yeah, it says, so New Aelstead has a disease, and you are the cure. Dispense justice quickly and thoroughly, because these criminals won't wait for you to attack at one time. Which is another thing that like I really want to like emphasize here. Like it's a 1 to 4 player co-op, but it's not one of those like you're fighting in waves. It's like kind of like other games where it's like you go in, you start combat, and if you attract the attention of other enemies, you attract the attention of other enemies, and they will not wait for you. It's not like a wave thing either,
Sure.
to where it's like, okay, yeah, this wave of enemies is gonna have like 2 or 3 dudes you're gonna fight. It's just like if you attract the attention of 10 dudes who want you dead, you're fighting all 10 of them, and they're not going to wait.
Jesus.
It does come off as like a really difficult game.
Yeah, that's the one thing I have seen is a lot of people going, this shit is hard.
Yeah, it is not easy. In fact, a lot of what I've read is people saying, hey, like, take your time before you engage in fights, because like you will get messed up really quickly, really easily. And it's not just like hey, run in, kill these people. You can arrest them too. I've actually found out earlier today while I was digging up some more on them. But there are other types of game modes that you can play. So there are like hostage rescue situations. So it's like there'll be a mission post where it's like, hey, this person is stuck. They're being held hostage. Get to them and extract them from the city. Which I thought was really cool. It's not just like a go in, hack and slash, chaos everywhere. But yeah, so like as you see, like right there's like a little like pop up where it's like the city of Aelstead. So there are multiple districts within the city, and your job is to keep the I forget what the actual term they have for it, but basically keep the crime level as low as possible. But once the city as a whole reaches a certain crime level, like the city is overrun and you've lost. Like just GG boys, like start over.
Pack it in.
Yeah, so you can lose. It's not just like okay, we failed this mission, we're gonna go back in. It's like the objective is absolutely to save the city,
sure,
and restore order. So you can lose districts. Districts do become more difficult the more the crime goes up and all that kind of stuff. Like everything is interactable. I think in one of these videos that you actually, I think it's on Steam, you can kick a door in, the door will fly off the hinges,
yeah, I've seen
and
that
you
a couple
can kill
of times.
somebody.
Yeah.
You can kill somebody with the door by kicking it in if they're standing right there. Also,
Awesome.
They can kill you by kicking a door, all that kind of stuff. But this is definitely one of like those super fun kind of like 1 to 4 player like party games. Get a couple of friends, grab some drinks, have at it with the shenanigans. You can pick your loadouts, your different go in with a crossbow, a giant axe, club, sword and board, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's on sale right now, including their one little DLC that they've got right now. I think it's like $5 for everything.
Right now it is actually, if you're watching this, you got 13 hours to claim this deal. It is 75% off for the base game, so it's $374 right now. And with the DLC, which is the Vanguard pack, which it looks like it's probably some armor and maybe some weapons.
It's cosmetics.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's only an extra like 90 cents. Like for that pack, it's $4.66. Yeah. So it's $4.66 for them bundled together, and you've got 13 hours to grab it as of right now. So it's been out for a while too. Like that's the wild thing, is this has been out for just over a year, and it's the first I've heard of it.
And you know me, sometimes like I'll just randomly just send you random things, and some of those games are games that have been out for a while. But when I saw that this game has been out for roughly a year now, I was like, holy cow, like this looks like so much fun. How have I never heard of this before? Like, this is insane.
It just goes to show you, man, marketing, even when you release on Steam, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get, the attention you deserve, right? Like if you look at it on Steam, it's sitting at a mixed reviews right now. This isn't in early access, right? This is official release. Yeah. So it's sitting at mixed reviews.
Yeah, this is full release.
And all-time reviews, 381. They only have 381 total reviews on Steam. So it's just, you have to market too. And so hopefully, this is interesting to somebody, and we're helping them, and somebody will see it and be like, oh yeah, this looks like a cool game. I mean, hell, they've hooked us. They got 3 sales, I would say, in the last couple of days. Because didn't you say your roommate bought it? You just bought it. I'm going to buy it.
Yeah, I bought it. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it just has to find the right audience, right?
Yeah. Now, like one of those things I will just toss out there. This it is by an indie developer, 2 developers actually, Wildler Zone and Low Key Game Dev. From what I could tell, Wildler Zone, it's like WYLDER. Anyway, they've got a couple of things that have come out over time, all indie games, nothing huge.
Sure.
Low-key game dev. This is the only thing listed on them that I could find on Steam, as far as I could tell. So it's a super small time like dev team. Yeah. So it does have some ragdoll physics. I'm expecting some jank feel to it, but ultimately I'm approaching this game with like, it's going to be weird. It's probably going to feel a little clunky, but like I'm coming at this in the spirit of, this looks like a fun time with me and my friends.
Yeah, this looks like a game that I will play in the middle of the night and piss off my wife when she comes out and glares at me because I'm laughing too hard and too loud. That's what this game looks like.
Oh, absolutely.
There's so many of these scenes that I'm just like, that's fucking hilarious. There's one where a guy takes a spear straight through the chest and he just goes flying against it. Like, there's so much in this that just looks like a good time with the friends. And honestly, you can't beat a price tag of $4. Like, even if the game is crap, you paid $4 for it right now, right? It's pretty reasonable price. So
I have a personal policy of, if I can get 1 hour of entertainment per dollar spent, once I hit like an $80 game, let's just say, right? If I can get 80 hours of actual entertainment out of a game, it's paid for. Like, good. I'm satisfied with that purchase.
Yeah, I don't know. With the way costs are going nowadays, I don't know. It's a $80 just. We'll get there. We're going to talk about that on the Patreon side. But yeah, Guards looks cool. I checked it out. I think the second you shared it on the Patreon exclusive side of our Discord, and it reminds me of Barony, but not as a roguelite. You know what I mean? It feels like it plays very similar to Barony, but obviously it's not procedurally generated or things of that nature. So
yeah,
and
which we still need to play. Barony.
Yeah, that game is
last year.
That game is also hard as hell, but lots of fun.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to check this out. This is one that I think would be really fun to play with you and your roommate, and maybe B-Ski or Mike or somebody if we can get them to pick it up. But it looks like a cool game.
I'll pick it up for them. It's $5
right? Like, yeah, it's not an expensive one for 13 hours. Yeah, you can get it.
Yep.
Well, if you're ready, I have the top secret topic for you. If you're ready to move on
with it.
Okay.
Because I know you've been excited to get my reaction at it.
I have been, because this, I don't know if you've heard about this, and I was a little worried when I was looking at releases.com for the Patreon side that it was going to show up in the releases, because it's coming soon, and it's not on releases.com, which is very interesting.
Interesting. Okay.
So, Ragnarok Online is getting a new game. Yeah.
Go on.
All right, don't get too excited. Okay.
It's too late. I'm hard. Oh my God.
All right.
You have no idea. I'm excited.
Okay.
I'm thrilled.
Let me just taper your expectations a little bit. This is a cross.
Don't do that.
I'm gonna have to. This is a cross-play game from PC to mobile. Oh, so just hold on. That doesn't mean it's bad. We just saw earlier this year how good Game of Thrones King's Road is. Okay.
Fair.
Also worth mentioning, Google Play calls this Game of the Year. Okay. Google Play says Game of the Year. At least in terms of mobile, I guess, right? But it's also crossplay, so you can play this on PC and never touch it on your phone, ever. But it's crossplay. So whatever you do on PC, you can do on the mobile. Whatever you do on the mobile, you can do on PC. So let's talk about this, all right? This game is...
Please, let's...
Yep. This game has actually been out for a while now, but it's getting a North America release on the 8th of May.
I'm putting that in my phone right now.
I've got a link for you. Don't worry, I'll send it to you. You can pre-register for the game. It'll be in the description as well, but by the time anybody... In fact, you know what I'll do right now? I'll just throw this in chat. This is the link for anybody who's watching right now to pre-register. If you want to pre-register for the game there, you will get extra bonus pack stuff. They are going for an art style that is much more like Ragnarok 2. It's more three-dimensional, which makes sense, right? It's not what we loved about the original Ragnarok, but it still looks really good. They're focusing on what Ragnarok was and what it needs to be for the future of the franchise, if that makes sense. Okay. It has 20 million players worldwide. And on the 8th of May, it launches North America servers, South America servers, Australian servers, and New Zealand servers. So it goes
live.
To
double their player base.
Oh, easily. Yeah, 100%. They've added some accessibility features that I have mixed feelings on, depending on how they're implemented. Not that they're a bad thing. Accessibility features are always good. It's a matter of implementation, whether I have to turn it on or off, right? How it works. They've added auto questing. Now, I don't know how the fuck that works at all. Auto questing seems like a wild concept to me, but from my understanding,
I think I know what that means.
Yeah, so like we can assume what that means, right? Like you accept a quest and then you turn on, so it just goes and does the quest for you, which feels like something accommodating mobile players, right? That doesn't feel like something PC players are going to take advantage of. Feels like an accommodation for mobile. Makes sense. They also have auto battle with smart navigation for casual users, right? Same idea. If you just wanted. I mean, at that point, why not just play AFK Arena is kind of my thought, but that's besides the point. That being said, it still supports high-end raids, MVP boss hunts, and real-time PvP. So you still have that. And our good old friend War of Imperium, they haven't detailed how, but they have said that they have a more advanced guild versus guild system than the one that we're familiar with from the past. More rewards, more reason to do it. They didn't detail it in the press release that I read, but they've expanded on the War of Imperium.
I mean, even just saying more to what they had from like the original Ragnarok's Online War of Imperium, like that's...
It was a great system.
Any harder than this, man. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was a great system.
It was amazing. You know me, I could go on forever about Ragnarok Online,
and that's why I was
so much of my youth.
That's why I was like, you got to be on this episode, because like you and I connect on Ragnarok on a different level, man, and you were on a different level than me.
Oh yeah. To be fair, I was on a different level than most people back then.
Yes. They are adding new features to cater to solo mobile players as well as hardcore raid leading PC players. So there's going to be more accessibility, more options. I soloed a lot of the game. I also played on, private servers when I played Ragnarok online. Nothing crazy high rates, but like 7 to 10 is generally where I played, times base, because you're a psycho for playing the base. They're retaining the job system. All the shit that you know and love is there. Swordsman goes to knight or satyr. Mage goes to wizard or sage. Archer goes to hunter or bard. Alkalite goes to priest or monk. Thief goes to assassin or rogue. Merchant goes to blacksmith and alchemist. Doesn't seem like they have ascended classes at the time of recording. I didn't see anything about that on their website or any mention of, like Lord Knight or what's Paladin, I think it's the satyrs equivalent, or ascended, and all of that, right? They didn't have stalker, they didn't have, priest, or they didn't have high priest or whatever. So I don't think the ascended classes are in next generation yet. I'm sure they'll come.
Oh yeah. They're a staple of the game at this point. So.
Yeah, like it's part of what Ragnarok's charm is, right? Is the rebirth process and becoming an ascended class. Like that's the bread and butter of Ragnarok. Still has custom builds, and masochism. Still has custom builds. You've got gear, you've got skills, so you've still got that customization option, that availability to theory craft your build how you want it to be. So that's, and
was there anything about the card system?
I didn't see anything about the card system, but considering that they mentioned that there's gear and skills and stuff like that, I assume the card system, because that's also a staple, right? Like the cards were also very much a big part of building in Ragnarok.
Yeah, so those would make or break, like the classic old school like Musa build for
that was my build
and whatnot. Like there are certain cards out there, like if you didn't have one, just you lose to other Musa builds, period. Period.
My Lord Knight, my Berserker Lord Knight was a crit knight, and if I didn't have that card that cleared the curse, which I didn't have for a long time, I literally walked around with hundreds of holy waters on my hotbar. So the second curse popped, I hit that. Like I would burn through about 300 holy waters in a single War of Imperium just because I'd be slamming holy waters while I'm doing crit damage. So those cards are critical to your builds, right? So I imagine those are still going to play a role. It might not be cards, it might be something different now, but for those of you who are wondering what cards are, they had an extremely low drop rate from every monster. Every monster had their own loot pool and their drop rates. On official servers, I think your odds of getting any card at best were 1 in like 300,000, I think. It was a ridiculous number.
Some of them weren't too bad. So they had their rarity system.
Yeah.
And the common cards, if I remember correctly, at the time that I played, given this was like high school for us,
right? Yeah.
So like early 2000s, the most common card had about a 3 to 5% drop rate.
Yeah.
So the rarest card had a 0.0025%, like something about that range.
Yeah, I remember killing, I don't remember what the alligators were called, but the ones that dropped the card I needed for the Lord Knight build that I was doing. I remember killing millions of them and not getting the card. Millions. Hours of grinding away at them. Yeah. Economy is still player-based, so your merchant can still be a merchant. You can be the blacksmith. I don't know what they're going to do for that, but it's still a player-based economy. There is no paywalls. There is no locked loot behind purchases. It's not a thing. Just really important to hear, because I was super excited the first time I opened up the press release, started reading through Ragnarok, and I saw mobile. I was like, oh, fuck. Right? Because it's, how are you monetizing? Yeah. How are you monetizing? How are you monetizing? Yeah. So
I really feel like they learned their lesson from Ragnarok too.
I hope so. I really do.
Because they monetized the hell out of that game.
And it's become less acceptable to a point where like nobody really monetizes power. It's probably going to be customization or what's the word I want? Cosmetics that'll be locked behind a paywall. Or there'll be a battle pass of some sort. Who knows? I'm curious to see how they handle it moving forward, but we'll see. That's kind of what we know right now. So
Oh God, dude, I'm excited.
Yeah.
You know my love. I have spent more time on Ragnarok Online than I have other people have spent on like WoW Classic.
Yeah.
Back
easily.
when WoW was, back when WoW was like still like the MMORPG to play.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would convince. I actually convinced my mom and my stepdad at the time. I was like, give me chores to do around the house, pay me $20 a month so I can pay for my subscription to play this game.
Yep.
I was like, that's all I need. That's all I need. And yeah, just to give a little, just to give listeners a little tidbit on why it is like I'm on such a wildly different level when it came to this game back in the day was so. The rebirth process, basically, to get the game starts. You got levels 1 to 99, and then the rebirth process is you do that again. You hit level 99 at your max level. You go to rebirth, and you turn back as a novice and at level 1, and you do it again. Except you have a significantly higher XP threshold, so you're leveling slower.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you get to your transcendent classes. On average, it would take you about 8 months of active gameplay to get to level 99 on like the official server. Like one totally standard XP rate. I did that 3 times. And I got into, I think if I remember right, I was like 83 or something like that. I was top 100 people to reach level 99 as a transcendent class, and my class was a stalker.
Yeah.
That's what I played. It was not a very popular class back then. Not a lot of people liked you, but
they were real mean in War of Imperium.
People.
Yeah, they were real fucking mean in War of Imperium. I hated stalkers in War of Imperium. They had an ability. Their main ability was the ability to cloak, and stalkers were. Yep. It wasn't like video games like Halo where you're like active camo. You were straight up invisible other than footprints. So if you didn't move, no one would ever see you. And they would do crazy damage with, backstab and things of that nature if you went for Knife Rogue. The most common one that I saw was Bow Rogue, because you could be invisible and then hit somebody hard with a critical hit with a bow, and when they came at you, rogues also got the ability, if you did a certain quest, to backslide. So you never had to turn around and walk, and you could backslide faster than most people could move. So they were the trolliest
zip across screens. And what I would do, what I would love doing, especially when I saw crit knights or just knights in general, they'll come up and they're sitting there, they're fighting one guy, and I'll just position myself behind them, so they're on the very edge of my screen, and I'll just sit there. And bow rogues, they do get access to a hunter skill, basically like a double attack. Mm-hmm. So I'm just sitting there. I'm just sitting here firing my arrows, and of course I'm also a crit build because why not? So by the time people realized where I was shooting at them from, I would backslide, and I'd be so far away from them. By the time they tried to chase after me, the people they were fighting now has their back to them, and I would just come back in and do it over again. I would literally just zip around. I just had this one line in our castle that I would just go back and forth on, and God, I loved it. I loved it so much. But yeah, I was in the top 100 for first 100 people to reach level 99. I was also top 50 for reaching level 99 as a stalker.
Yeah. On official servers, it's quite the achievement for sure. 100%.
It's a lot of work. I think I did that over the course of like almost 2 years.
That sounds right. On official servers, I can believe that. I think I made so. It's important to know you don't have to get to 99. Like a lot of people might be thinking, holy shit, that almost sounds awful, right? Like, and to an extent, it is. The way the game works is you have a base level and you have a job level. And so when you're a novice, your job level caps at level 10. You can level to 99 as a novice, Maybe. I don't know if it's actually possible.
No, it is. It is.
That's
because
wild.
there was a transcendent class for novice called super novice.
Right. Yeah. But I don't like. Yeah. You're so weak as a novice that I don't know if you could actually get.
Yeah. No, you're partying. You're with a group of people the entire time.
Yeah. So you go from whatever level, right, to job level 10 as a novice. And then I think in official servers you had to do a quest. In the private servers that I played, you basically just went and chose your job. Sometimes, depending on the server, the way it was set up, it would just throw you to the quest, and you would do a quest to choose, one of those classes I said, right? Like swordsman, alkalite, assassin, or rogue, all of those, right? And so then you would get your first class, which I believe that base level capped at 50, that job level, right?
Yeah, from novice, your first job class, your job level caps at 50. Sounds about right.
For like swordsman 50, and then once you get to 50, I think you can actually. This might have been a private server thing. I don't know. From what I remember, once you get to 40, you can go to knight or whatever your rank 2 is, right? But if you go to 50, you unlock more skill points, right? Which benefits you, but it's obviously harder because you've got 10 more levels. You're not as strong as you should be. There's issues with it, right? Unless you're partying or grouping, it gets a little bit harder.
Yeah. It's universally accepted to where it's like you could always get your job upgrade roughly 10 job levels before that caps.
Right.
And it's universally accepted to just be like, hey, just stick it out, get the extra job points because you're going to want it in order to optimize your character's build.
Yep.
And that's another thing I really liked about Ragnarok Online. It's one of the two big things, I should say, I really enjoyed about Ragnarok Online. It, kind of like most games, they're just like, hey, like as you go, you level, like you'll, unlock skill points. You use those skill points to, get skills, and like you either upgrade skills, get new skills. You need skills at certain levels to get to the next part in your skill tree.
Yep.
And I personally, I think that's really great because you can get job experience separate from your base level experience, which I think is phenomenal. Like it's a really great thing because there's another game I played that was kind of similar but did it a little bit more stricter. Cabal Online.
Yeah, I remember that one too.
People would like AFK on dummies, just chaining a specific skill, and you would level that skill by actively using it. I would love to see more games do something similar to that. Maybe not AFK skill leveling, but I love the system that Ragnarok Online has.
Yeah.
And without trying to derail us too much here, one of the other big things I loved about Ragnarok Online was it encourages you to explore and randomly talk to NPCs.
Yeah.
You're not going to have, or at least back then, you're not going to have them. They're not going to have exclamation points sitting over their heads or like, hey, this is a side quest. This is a main quest. There is no main quest or anything like that. And at least back on the original, I should say.
Right.
It's you can either go out and just kill stuff, grind, nose to the grindstone, level up and do that, or go to random parts of the city, obscure locations. You'll find some hidden alley and some random NPC. You're like, hey, you look like a sketchy motherfucker. What do you got for me? Yeah. And like, if I remember, I think it was four or five like god tier, like literal god tier items from Norse mythology that you could get, but you would have to talk to NPCs and see what types of quests they offer you. And you don't get markers on your map. They literally goddamn, what's the word I'm looking for?
There's a journal. I don't even think it had a journal. I think you had to physically write down the stuff, because what people don't know is, I mean, probably most people our age know, but like before WoW, no MMO had exclamation points. That was something WoW made. that was unique to WoW when WoW came out. It was the first MMO to ever be like, hey, how do we let players know this guy has something? Oh, I don't know, question mark, exclamation point, something like that. So EverQuest didn't have it. Knights of Camelot didn't have it. Ultima Online didn't have it. Ragnarok didn't have it. It wasn't a thing until WoW made it a thing, and it was just adopted from there. So yeah, you kind of had to just walk around and figure it the fuck out, or talk to somebody who had been playing long enough to have figured it out. It was
truly like, it was a sandbox MMORPG. It's you make it what you want of it, and it was fantastic.
It was really cool. You could find some really great, like, just spots to level, right? Like solo leveling. One of the things I did constantly when I played a new class was I'd go to Pontera, sit in front of the fountain, and be like, hey, just starting this class out, you know, just trying out, say, fucking blacksmith. Where should I go? You know, what's a good place for solo leveling? And, you know, everybody has their opinion. It had a good community, which was the other thing. Like, WoW had such a toxic community, and toxic communities have become so common in MMOs and in most any game now that, like, it's refreshing to see those games. Kind of like when we were playing Pantheon, has a really good community of just people that are genuinely good and helpful individuals. And Rag had a lot of that.
This worked for me, or you know, somebody else would be like, oh, that's really good, but if you want more of a challenge, try this, and here's some other tips, and this, that, and the third. And it's just like, all right, dope. Like, that's what Ragnarok Online had, and I miss it. It's part of the reason I don't play too many MMORPGs these days, because communities are just toxic. You don't have that, like, that community anymore, and oh god, I miss Ragnarok Online, dude.
I'm hopeful for this one. I will probably never play it mobile, just like I will probably never play King's Road mobile, but it also makes me wonder, King's Road you have to buy right now. You have to pay for it. It's $30.
Oh
yeah. I don't know if after it launches out of early access, if it's going to go free to play or not. But right now, you have to buy it. So if Ragnarok goes with a similar format, that's going to make me feel a lot more confident on this game. Because I say this every time, if the game's free to play, it's probably going to be monetized in a horrible way. Because they have to make their money for the development. They have to. So
absolutely.
If Ragnarok has a price tag to it, I feel more confident that it's going to be a good game. So that's kind of my thought.
It's
good.
It's part of the reason why I never feel like subscription games have like an age, you know, like they're going to get better. They're going to do their best to adapt to their players, because they're constantly making money from these players. And they're just they want to keep that money. They want to keep that income. Like Final Fantasy 14 is like my best example, right?
Yeah, it's a great one.
I've been playing it since like 2.x, and I think they're almost on 10 or whatever right now.
Right.
But it's like they've made changes over the years. They've adopted new things. They've added new things, and it's like they have the money to keep that going. Whereas like you said, like free to play games, they're depending on that monetization of like, oh, hey, buy these cosmetics, please. Or it's not even that we're not going to do this, because if, you know, we're not making money off of you, then why are we going to bother? And like on that point too, like this actually just came to mind. It's if they're only making money off of like cosmetic items, why are they going to care to change the actual game themselves when they're like, well, this is what's making us money, not the game itself.
Right. So yeah, it's definitely like, and that's why we saw so heavily in early free games, just cramming down your throat every time you logged in, every time you played, every time you did anything. It was designed to make you spend money, because they put all the investment into the game and then didn't put a price tag on it. So they had to be like, okay, now we need to get your money. So yeah, I'm hopeful for this, man. So many good memories. I remember the pet system. I remember taming like the mini Baphomet. I had a mini Baphomet pet that was so fucking cool. Like, dude, there was so much good stuff about Ragnarok, and it makes me wonder. They've said
so much.
They've said in the press release that it's not going to be just a trip down memory lane. They're trying to get that nostalgia that we remember, but also attract, you know, modern generation. So it makes me wonder how much of the world is going to be what Ragnarok was, and how much of it's going to be new, right? They've confirmed that Pantera is going to be in it, so at least we've got that.
Oh, it has to be in it. That's literally the capital of Midgard. Like, come on.
Right.
Like it, and that is going to be one of those things that, obviously, like as the older gamer generation, like we have to keep in mind. It's games like these that come back out from like our past. Like for me, Ragnarok Online, right? It's never going to be the same game I remember it being. But on that note, it shouldn't be the same game that I remember it being, because obviously it's like we're not going to be around that long. Also, like you've got family, you've got your kid, you've got work, you're in school, all that stuff. You don't have the time to invest into games like the youth of our, or like, you know, of our age do. Like your daughter, you know, 8 years from now is going to be spending a ton of times on video games, and you're just going to be like, fuck, I remember those days.
Yep.
So like they have to cater to the youth. They have to add more. They have to change things. But I really want to see how they're going to balance that nostalgia factor for us, and what of like new mechanics, new graphics, like all that kind of stuff that they're going to bring to the game. So I'm really looking forward. Like as a classic original, like I think I started playing Ragnarok Online during their third open beta.
Jeez.
Way back when.
Jeez.
Aging myself a little bit there.
Yeah.
I think I had 12 years on that game.
Yeah.
12 years.
Yeah.
But I'm really looking forward to it. I really am. I'm excited for it, and I'm sitting here watching this little trailer, and
Yep.
But believe it or not, there was actually a really good animated show for Ragnarok.
There was.
The hunter and assassin from this trailer are like identical to the hunter and assassin from that show.
Yeah,
and
I think that's on purpose. I feel like that's on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here really wild because I'm. You know what? Fuck it. I don't care about spoilers, because if you haven't seen it at this point, you either don't care or it's not important to you. But like, homeboy dies. So like, what are you doing? Go away.
Yeah, that was emotional as fuck in that old show, man. That was.
God, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
That show got dark.
Yes.
That show got dark.
It was real good. But
oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got 5 days, buddy, and then you'll have your answers. 5 days.
Dude, I will take time off of work.
Well, you heard it here first, guys. I gave Chris his new addiction.
Oh God, like I don't think you guys understand the feelings, not even just the nostalgia, but like the sheer joy that Ragnarok Online brought me as a child is just unfathomable. Like I literally cannot describe how much time, fun, and the friends I made playing that game were.
It really was, for me, it really was the RuneScape of my teenage years, right? So like RuneScape I played when I was younger, played it like 7 to like 11 or 12. And then in high school, freshman year, one of my buddies was telling me about MapleStory, and I checked out MapleStory. I was like, this isn't really my vibe. I don't like the side scroller kind of stuff. And he's like, well, you should check out Ragnarok then. This is what it did. And I was like, all right, fucking show me up. And yeah, from then on, I was hooked. I played it well into being stationed at Fairchild. Like, I played it for a long time. Yeah. Long time.
Yeah, so. I think I started playing Ragnarok Online when I was 8 or 9 years old.
That sounds right. If you were in the beta, because I know it was like it was around long enough for me to find plenty of private servers to play on.
Oh yeah.
And, man, every time the freaking base game updated, the private servers were difficult, right? Because private servers would try and keep up with where the story was in Korea. So like you would have to have both versions of the game. It was a nightmare. Like, God, people complain about mods nowadays where it's like, oh, this mod file, I have to extract it and put it in this folder. Let me tell you that the days of playing Ragnarok online on a private server, you damn near needed to know how to code. Like, you had to have both versions of the game installed and then like mash files together. Oh, it was a nightmare. When the Korean servers would update, it was like a day and a half of trying to get the private server working again, because it was just yeah. So, but it was fun. I mean,
and then it's just like,
it's
like, oh yeah, hey, so this one thing updates, so go into the game file, go to this specific folder, scroll for 2 hours down that list to find this one specific like .x file or whatever the hell.
Mm-hmm.
Delete that one, remember where in that thing is listed, and then drag and drop the new file to replace where in that list was. Because things back then didn't just automatically place themselves where they needed to be. Like there was a load, like mods, there's a load order to all of that stuff back then. And oh my god.
Yeah, it was a lot of DLL modifying too. A lot of DLL files that had to be modified and adjusted. And it was a lot of work, but man, it was fun. It was a great game. So I'm excited to see more of it. But 5 days and we'll have a better idea. 20 million players though worldwide is nothing to sneeze at. So that tells me the game's at least moderately enjoyable. At the very least.
And I mean, you have to consider it's 20 million players, like quote unquote worldwide, but like limited country access. Like
mostly the Asian countries would be
most of the world. Most of the world doesn't have access to this game right now. So like 20 million it's pretty amazing.
Basically, the only continents that do are the European continent and the Asian continent. That's it. Like North America, South America, Australia, and New Zealand do not have, I guess in Africa, right? The African continent. So you have 3 continents that have access to this game right now, and you're about to add 4 more to it. Arguably New Zealand is an island and so is Australia, but they're, semantics, right?
Yeah.
So,
Oceania.
Yeah. So, that is our main topics for the night. Let's talk about some quickfire news. Chris, you want to go ahead and start this one off, and I will follow after the news that you have.
Okay. I'll start with my one, 2 actually. I've got 2.
Oh, got 2. All right.
I've got 2. I'll start with longtime favorite, my second most played game, Elite Dangerous, that I have just shy of 1,400 hours logged on that game. A couple of months ago, I had sent to Tim about a new system colonization update that Elite Dangerous is putting out. They have finally implemented it. It's going strong. It's great. But they do have player system colonization available, so you can go out to unexplored or uncolonized systems in general and actually begin a colonization process to where you go out there, you pay and set your claim, and you start doing what you need to do to build the new space station, outposts, like all that kind of stuff, and everything that you basically build the system to how you want it to be. Like what type of system, what is it going to specialize in? Mining, combat, exploration, like all that kind of nonsense, and it's all at the player's whim. And of course, you can set different goals to have other players come to the system and help you accomplish goals to further progress the colonization. So that's really cool. I actually just re-downloaded it for the purpose of hey, you know what? I'm gonna jump in and try this game out, play it again. Plus, I've got it in VR. It's a completely different game when you're playing it in VR. So, if you're into spaceflight simulators, Elite Dangerous is basically unmatched, if you ask me. So, definitely check that out. The second game that I actually brought, I mentioned it to you, but I forgot to talk about that earlier while we were setting up. But Infect Cam.
Right.
Yeah. It's basically like that police body cam game that came out not too long ago. Super realistic and all that. But this one it's about zombies. So basically you're part of an extraction team of people who goes into infected zones to try and save people, gather resources, gather secrets, maybe get some stuff from scientists. You basically have objectives, right? But they have a pretty cool little tidbit that they get. I'll actually read the about thing here real quick. It's been a decade since a pandemic swept through the world. Billions were infected by a bacteriophage that first killed them. then brought them back under its control, turning them into violent monsters, entirely conscious of their actions until someone finally puts them out of their misery.
That sounds fucking
awful.
You
are that someone, part of an elite search and rescue unit responsible for evacuating human survivors from infected areas.
That sounds fucking awful.
yeah, but that's one of like those like little like description bits that I was just like it raised my eyebrow. I was like, oh,
yeah.
Okay, so we're actually talking about this now. That's cool. That's important.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of like body cam, you don't have a HUD or anything like that. It's all played from like that quote unquote body cam angle. Looking at some of the footage,
bit of a fisheye lens to it.
Kind of, yeah. And from what I'm looking at some of the footage, it still kind of seems like you're playing it from like the first person view, but ever so slightly lower, so like the arms actually come up a little bit higher from like your perspective, but it's definitely still a work in progress kind of game.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean it's not out or anything like that, but like if you guys YouTube some videos and things like that, you can see some gameplay, some people testing it. It looks like it's going to be a pretty fun game. I look forward to it. It's by a developer called Ravenholm Interactive. The publisher is indie.io, which I believe has made a couple of games that you've probably talked about in the past. But it seems cool. The concept seems great. It doesn't seem as hyper realistic as Body Cam. Not made by the same people.
Right.
To throw that out there.
Yeah.
But I saw that pop up and I was like, hey, like this seems pretty cool. Another indie developer game. It's not out yet, but who doesn't like a good zombie shooter game?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I'm curious to see how development progresses on that.
Yeah, same.
Moving along, we've got some news about the closed alpha for Marathon. They have extended the date by 2 days, so it now closes on the 6th instead of the 4th. Why? I don't know, because they wanted to, I guess. And there will be a beta coming in August, I believe. The beta comes out, open beta, if I'm not mistaken. GTA 6 got pushed a year. We got an announced release date of 26 May 26. So another year without GTA 6 for those of you who are looking forward to that game. And of course, it would not be a week on CoinDrop if we didn't report on industry layoffs. EA has laid off another 100 devs that worked on both, well, not both, but like total. These devs worked on Apex Legends and the Star Wars Jedi series. And they canceled 2 projects that Respawn was working on. So they basically gutted Respawn, which I don't know what the hell they're thinking other than, the team that makes Battlefield. Apex Legends and Star Wars were kind of your moneymakers, guys. Don't know where their thought process is. I guess Sims is also a really good moneymaker for them too, but like, dude, everybody loves the Star Wars games. I have yet to hear a single person say anything bad about the Cal Kestis games other than like they don't particularly like Cal. But overall, like most people like the story. They enjoy the gameplay. They enjoy the game. And Apex Legends is, it's a battle royale that's super arcadey that a lot of people play and enjoy. So to lay off 100 devs from those 2 teams.
Wild.
I don't understand who's still making video games. I genuinely don't. It seems like every week hundreds of people are getting laid off, and it's been this way for years now. So like, who the fuck is still making video games? It's wild.
Honestly, this kind of explains why there's been such a surge in like indie development.
Yeah,
like indie company developers and stuff like that, because that's where they're going. Like, I wouldn't trust a major company with the way the industry is being right now. I would never go work for a major company because that's not. There's zero job security.
Yeah,
because I think you said it while we were talking 2 weeks ago when I came over to hang out for a weekend. It's like you could be part of a team that publishes a super successful game and still get laid off.
Arguably, Apex Legends is a prime example of that. Like, So yeah, there is no job security, and it's really fucked. But yeah, we're seeing a lot of great indies come out of this, because the other side of it too is like the people that do stay, you can't get anything fucking greenlit. If it's risky at all, these big publishers are like, nah, we're going to just make another Call of Duty, or nah, we're going to make another Just Dance. Like, you can't get funding for risky projects. As it is, I'm amazed. I am honestly amazed that Bungie let Marathon get made, because it was a risky move. And a lot of people are saying that Arc Raiders is better than Marathon. A lot of people are saying Marathon is just half a game. I'm not putting much stock in that, because Marathon is an extraction shooter. That is what it is. It will not be anything else. It's an extraction shooter. And to a lot of people, extraction shooter is more of a mode, unless you're playing a hardcore style extraction shooter like Escape from Tarkov. And if you think what you're seeing in the closed alpha for Marathon is all there is from alpha for the game, have you ever played a game in early access before? Because if you have, you know that you're playing a fraction of the game. Just gonna get off my rant now. Star Wars Eclipse, the RPG from, I think it's Quantic Dream is making that one, had a character art concept leak. Man. Yeah, cool industry studio name. Yeah. Look, man, words are hard. Star Wars Eclipse character concept art leaked. It's been subsequently taken down since that leak, so you can't find it anywhere that I was able to. I looked for it. Showed a couple of different races. We had I don't remember what was in the list, but it showed a couple of different ones. Nothing too spoiler heavy, and obviously it's concept art, so it's all subject to change. So it's not a huge leak. It's not that interesting, honestly, but could have been cool.
Yeah.
505, we've talked about them. Actually, Tim and I talked about them a little while ago. They're making a new game that looks very reminiscent of Castlevania Lords of Shadow, because they also worked on that game, called Blades of Fire. We talked about it, I think, in the 80s, somewhere in the episodes. You can find it. They're giving away a free copy of their game to anyone that is celebrating their Steel anniversary on the date of release. Steel anniversary, it's that idea of like, you are at this year, so you give an item that's this, right? So like the first year is like paper, right? Like it's that Steel anniversary. I don't know. There's a list you can find online of like gifts that you're not gifts, but like gift ideas, and one of those years is the Steel anniversary, which is apparently 11 years. And I know that for a fact because had my wife and I gotten married in May, specifically on the 22nd of 2014, we would be celebrating our Steel anniversary because we got married in December of 2014. So we got this close to getting a free copy of Blade of Fire. However, there is stipulations to that. You have to go to the game Comic-Con in London and show them. So like I would have to book a flight to London to get a free copy of that game if I was married in May. But
I was gonna say I'll help you forge your marriage documents, but we're not going to London.
Yeah, I'm not flying to London. So if anybody is listening to this overseas that can get to London and did get married on May 22nd of 2024, go to the convention and get a free game because they'll give you one, which is pretty cool. That's an interesting promo. I got to be honest. It's unique.
Right? Yeah.
And lastly, for quickfire news, people think that the way you get found and famous and make a lot of money in the music industry is by being on America's Got Talent or some stupid shit like that. It's just become like, it's become the idea that everybody has to go through these stupid game shows to get found. Well, that's not how it worked out for the composer of the music for Expedition 33. The game that sold over 1 million copies in its first week. Yeah, they hired a guy who, quote, posted his music on SoundCloud to do the score for the game. And I haven't heard the music outside of the trailers, but what I heard in the trailers was pretty fucking fantastic. So some guy, I don't know how popular he was. It could be somebody who is well known in the music community in that genre of music. Ultimately, some guy on SoundCloud made the music for Claire Obscure. So pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, what a way to get found. Like, I really want to know how that interaction even started.
Right?
Like, somebody was probably just... There's probably like some random dev or, whatever, just playing some stuff on like SoundCloud while, doing his job and decided, hey, I like the way this guy sounds. I should contact him, because he realized his deadline was 5 hours away.
I mean, just to put it in perspective, dude, the guy who made this music was working with, Shadowheart from Baldur's Gate, voice actor. I believe Nolan North didn't he do a voice in that game too? There's a bunch of like really famous actors that did voices for Claire Obscure. Expedition.
Okay, well, so I mean, he's got some ties to the industry, so it's not like he was some complete nobody. It sounds like.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what. Yeah. Was it Charlie Cox was in this? Yeah, Charlie Cox was a voice actor on this. Daredevil was a voice actor on this. So this guy from SoundCloud did music on a project Charlie Cox worked on, which is fucking cool, right? Let's see. Ben Starr was on here. Yeah. That just like.
Yeah, I mean, they've got some big names.
Yeah. And the game isn't even full price. It's $49.99 at release. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I'm picking it up. I'm picking it up next paycheck.
Yeah. I'm sure it's a great game. I wish I had the money and time to play it, but I don't. So that is going to wrap it up for us.
I'll tell you all about it.
Yeah, I'll watch you play or something. I'll have you stream it on the Discord. That is going to wrap it up for us, guys. Chris, any final thoughts before we head over to Patreon? And for what feels like the billionth time, talk about something stupid Microsoft's doing.
Oh, boy. No, I got nothing.
Just a little bit of dead air before there. So...
Yeah, my brain shut down for a moment there. Had to reboot.
Got it. Well, Thank you everybody for joining us, watching this live or in the future, or listening to us, whatever you're doing. Thank you for being here. We're excited to continue to do this, and we'll have Chris back on the show again sometime soon. For those of you who are patrons, like Chris himself, we'll be right back from the patron side. Oh, and usually my co-host says this, so I'm going to twist it. Tell your dog I said hi. Have a great night.